almost always one of the main concerns we hear for buyers are regarding the condition of the home. What if there's a bad roof? What if the furnace goes out? What if there's foundation issues? So today, that's the question we're answering for you on frequently asked questions. So today with me, I've got Joe Van Orsal from Ride Home Inspections. These are our go-to guys for the office, and they're the only ones that I call. So every time I have a buyer, Joe's the one that gets a call, and they do a great job. We're really happy to be working with them.
Thanks, Joe. You bet. Glad to be here.
So first of all, why don't you just start with what's a home inspection? What do you guys do for the buyers?
Okay. Well, by definition, a home inspection is a non-invasive visual examination of the home. By that, I mean we go through all the systems of the home: the heating, the plumbing, the cooling, the attic, the windows, the insulation, the roof if it's visible. The non-invasive part means that we're not going to cut holes in walls to look behind sheetrock, but we're going to operate all the appliances, and we're going to work the house as much as we can to try and find as many things as we can find during the inspection process.
Yeah, absolutely. So you run everything you can.
Yep.
It doesn't guarantee that we won't find any issues or that there won't be any down the road, but it's a pretty good, you have a pretty good sense of what's in the home so that you can make a good decision moving forward.
Yep.
Absolutely. So they're really valuable. We always recommend that buyers get them. With only a few exceptions, we always recommend that you get a home inspection. It's really for your best interest. A few $100 will save you several thousands potentially in the long run. So let's talk about the buying timeline. I've got a whole video that addresses this in much more detail. You can go online and see those. But just as a brief overview, you can see you get pre-approved. We're looking at homes, and then eventually we'll get you a home under contract. And then that's the time period at which we're going to call Joe or whoever your inspector is and have that inspection done. That'd be during the underwriting period, but of course before closing. So typically there's about a 10 to 14 day window, depending on the transaction, that we're going to get your inspection done. If we find any issues during this time from their report, then we can back out at that time, or we can address the issues. So you're not locked in. You will have already submitted your earnest money, but that's one that a lot of people are worried about. Am I gonna lose my earnest money? And the answer is generally no, as long as we've written your contract that way, and that's pretty much always how we do. That's when the inspection happens, and if any issues are found, we can get them taken care of at that point. So Joe, what are some of the main issues that you guys see, things that buyers might not think about that they should be aware of?
One of the things I've been seeing a lot lately is rodents up in the attic, and people don't usually think of that.
Sure.
We can see evidence of rodent infestation. People always worry about wet basements, so we do a really good job of trying to figure out what the potential is for wet basements. Depending on how old the home is, if it was a home built in the 70s or 80s with masonite or hardboard type siding, we might see at this point the siding starting to rot, or the windows, being the old wood windows, starting to deteriorate. So we're going to pay close attention to those things, which can be big dollar issues.
Absolutely. What about radon? A lot of people are talking about it.
Yep.
What do you guys do for that?
Radon's a big subject these days. Radon is a gas that comes out of the ground. It migrates up into the basement of your home, and if it's inhaled in large quantities over long periods of time, it can lead to lung cancer. So radon's a gas that we can test for very easily. It's a 48-hour test. We can put a monitor in the basement for 48 hours prior to or after the inspection and get a snapshot of time to know what the level is and whether it needs to be corrected.
Yeah, so as long as you address it, it can be taken care of pretty easily.
Yep.
So let's say you do find an issue during this inspection time frame. What are our options? Like I said, you're not necessarily locked into buying the house or losing your earnest money relative to your contract, of course, but we basically have three options that we can address for you. The first one is you can just accept them outright. If you're comfortable with making those repairs and addressing the issues, then we can just continue with the home purchase, just like the terms had been set. The second option is we can just back out. If you're not comfortable with it, let's say you've discovered $20,000 of repairs that you weren't expecting. I mean, that dollar amount's fairly rare, but it happens, and so in that case, we can just cancel your agreement within the time frame that we've been given. Or your third option is we can renegotiate the terms with the seller. So we can ask for them to fix items, we can ask for the sales price to come down, or we may be able to ask for them to contribute towards your closing costs to offset your expense of doing the repairs yourself after closing. So there really are options, and you're not locked in, so you don't need to worry about it. Really big issues are fairly uncommon. We usually have a pretty good idea going into the home, but Joe just discovers things that are not as easy to see with the naked eye. So That's a little bit about home inspections. If you want to learn more about Joe and the Right Home team, you can visit righthomeinspections.com. Or to see more videos like this about the buying and selling process, questions that you have, visit jcarmack.com and click blog. Thanks so much.